A mother weeps after losing her daughter. The little girl got caught in the crossfire between two men believed to be gang members.
I'm innocent, man. I ain't gonna...
He had the intent to kill Robert Valentine.
Who did it?
Trail, man. Von Trail.
Von Trail.
His testimony is fucking gonna stink.
Do you see that Hispanic male here in court today?
It looks like him.
I saw a man shooting. The man was lighter than me.
If he'd arrested a black one, she probably would have come out and said that the shooter was black because she just wants to please.
So you think Emilio will be there?
I do.
If he's not there, it's not because he moved. It's only because he just happens to not be there. But he still lives there. I'm confident he still lives there.
Well, Emilio is a guy who he's always lived in California. He happened to be at the apartment complex where the shooting occurred. He was visiting his aunt and uncle, and he was sitting there in his truck with his friend, and he was there when the shooting occurred, and he saw a person with a gun in their hand, and he said that they were black.
And as soon as he sees us, he's gonna know exactly who we are.
Oh, yeah. He's gonna lock the doors and hide under his bed.
He's like, go away.
This is it. Uh-oh. Oh.
I see a for rent sign.
This is not good. This is not good, James.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
Let's call that number for rent.
Hello.
Sí, ustedes son los que están rentando la casa ahí por la calle de la Grevilla Street. Soy investigador de Las Vegas. Trabajo para el defensor público.
She said July. It just closed. We just missed him.
I know.
Shit.
There's a for rent sign on the house, so I call the for rent sign number, and I speak to the new owner who gave me the name of the real estate agent. So I call the real estate agent. She's friends with Emilio, and she tells me that he lives with his sister in El Monte.
Where's El Monte?
El Monte is like LA. It's like on the way to LA. We'll go in El Monte, baby. I got an idea.
Payphone.
Ooh.
Good thinking.
No, I was gonna flip a coin.
Ooh.
Tails, we call him. Heads, we wait till in the morning.
No,
He sees the
7. Let's make more of an educated decision than that. I thought you were going to use the payphone so you couldn't see your number.
No, but I like the payphone idea because the cell phone, he's going to see 702, he's going to say,
Oh, frío. Huh?
Aló, Emilio. Mira, habla Jaime Alemán, no sé si te acuerdas de mí. ¿Sí te acuerdas? ¿Te acuerdas de mí, de Ivette, del caso de Pascual Lozano? A las 9 nos vemos entonces. Ok.
No lo puede ver ahora.
Ok.
No,
he said he didn't want to tonight.
He's in El Monte?
He's here in El Monte. It freaked him out when I told him I was in El Monte. He goes, ahorita ya está medio raro. It's 10 o'clock at night.
All right. Let's hope Emilio doesn't dog us.
I got a feeling he will.
He will?
I got a strong feeling that he's gonna dog us out.
He should also know, though, if we came all the way over here, we're not just gonna leave.
Bueno, Emilio, venimos a... El juez nos dio otra oportunidad de poner otro juicio. Todos los que fueron la primera vez vamos a necesitar que vayan también. ¿Vas a poder ir a Las Vegas?
Pues coordínenlo todo, pues vamos.
Ok.
Entonces, si no me pueden hacer ir a fuerza.
Mucha suerte. Ok, gracias. Ya nos vemos. That was much too easy.
Another one down.
All that drama just to come talk to him for 5 minutes.
Please state your name.
Emilio García.
Okay, can you, if you can, point to where your aunt was living on September 7th of 2002?
Viviendo el día 7 de septiembre de 2002.
Todo por aquí en este apartamento.
It was right around here in this apartment.
Okay, now when you were visiting your aunt, were you with anybody else?
Tía, ¿usted estaba con alguien más?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, and who were you with?
¿Y con quién estaba usted?
Carlos Corral.
Where were you in the parking lot with regards to the positioning of yourself in the car?
Estábamos sentados en las puertas detrás de la troca mía.
We were sitting by the rear doors in my truck.
What were you doing?
Estábamos tomando una cerveza.
We were drinking some beers.
And what were you drinking?
¿Qué es lo que estaba usted tomando?
Bud Light.
Bud Light.
Okay. And how many beers had you had?
¿Cuántas cervezas había tomado?
Dos.
2.
How many beers do you know were accessible?
¿Cuántas cervezas usted sabía que estaban ahí a su disposición?
18.
18.
Okay. Now, when you were sitting there, what drew your attention?
¿Qué fue lo que le llamó la atención?
4 disparos, algo así.
4 shots, something like that.
Okay. When you heard the shots, what did you do?
Mi troca estaba parqueada aquí.
My truck was parked right here.
Cuando oí los balazos que me bajé de la troca, yo salí para este lado de acá.
When I heard the shots, I got out of the truck and I came this way, over here.
Y fue cuando vi a la otra persona que iba corriendo, a la persona que iba corriendo por aquí, pues este rumbo allá, hacia el carro.
And I saw that other person who was running, heading this way, on the other side of the car.
What race was that person?
Negro.
Black.
And you testified that he had a gun in his hand. Is that right?
Tenía una pistola en la mano, ¿cierto?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, and do you remember what hand he had the gun in?
¿En qué mano llevaba la pistola?
Derecha.
Right.
Pass the witness, Judge.
So it was when you were at Civic Center that you began drinking. I believe you said you had 3 beers there.
Sí.
Yes.
How long had you been drinking before you heard the gunshots?
Una media hora, 45 minutos a lo máximo.
Half an hour or 45 minutes maximum.
So you had your 3 beers in a 30 to 45-minute time frame. Is that correct?
Sí.
Yes.
Is that the handwritten statement that you made to police officers on September 7th, 2002?
Policías el día 7 de septiembre de 2002?
Sí.
Yes.
And could you read the entire statement to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what you wrote?
La declaración por escrito que al jurado de lo que acerca de lo que usted escribió.
Solo hay 4 balazos. Vi un hombre corriendo. Eso es todo. El carro era Ford Taurus. El carro se fue al norte.
I only heard 4 shots. Then I saw a man running, and the car was Ford Taurus, and that was it.
Okay.
Did you tell the police officers that day, when you were there at the crime scene with them, what you saw?
Lo que usted vio?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you tell them that you saw a person of the black race with a gun?
De raza negra con una pistola?
Sí.
Yes.
Now, you were given a piece of paper to make a statement on, is that right?
Papel para que usted hiciera una declaración, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Yes.
Well, why was your statement short?
Su declaración, porque fue corta.
Pues quería hacerlo lo más corto posible, pero...
Because I wanted to make it as short as possible, but...
para ver si no me llamaban a corte.
That maybe they wouldn't call me to court.
Well, that idea didn't work.
Bueno, esa idea no dio resultado, ¿eh?
No.
No.
Says that Pasquale is right-handed. Do you remember if any? And then we
She says the shooter is right-handed.
I mean, I'm sorry, you're right, and not necessarily. Well, yeah, the shooter's right-handed. What other evidence came in about the right-left-handed? We submitted the evidence when he was a kid to show he's left-handed, how he was swinging the bat of the piñata. Because I don't know if that's strong enough just to say. I mean, I guess we can call family members or. Maybe we can find it in school records.
My name is Kim Rako, R-A-K-O-W.
Ms. Rako, where are you employed?
I work for the Clark County School District in Health Services.
What was the date now on the nurse who did the evaluation of Mr. Lozano?
January 31st, 1990.
So that obviously 1990, that's some 16 years ago?
Yes.
Okay, and in the nurse's evaluation, does it show a dominance with regard to right hand, left hand?
Yes, it's one of the standard things we did in those days, and she noted that he had left hand dominance.
Okay. Court's indulgence, Your Honor.
I'm a lefty. I bat right-handed. I golf right-handed. Now, do I shoot right-handed? I don't know. I have both hands on the gun. I play tennis.
What hand do you put the gun in?
I was trying to think of that the other day. I probably put it in my left hand.
Really?
Yeah. But I'm I mean, even though I bat and I golf right, I play tennis left. So, I mean, it's hard to say. And
yeah, and I don't give a shit because anybody that comes in says Pasquale Lozano is left-handed. I go, what hand does he shoot a gun in?
Yeah.
It's the only question.
For the record, John, what is your height and weight?
My height is 5'9", 165 pounds.
Right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
I think he's gonna need that, yeah.
John, you've been shooting how long?
Since I was 5.
Have you shot with your offhand before?
Yes.
Would you feel comfortable putting a target out there and trying to hit it with your offhand?
Sure.
Just put it out the extend and just, I think, potentially for demonstrative purposes, to show the difficulty of controlling something that big with your offhand.
So we've got 3 shots in rapid succession?
Everybody said at least it was 4.
4
okay,
to 5.
we'll go with 4. So we'll have you left-handed fire 4 shots with a 44.
Okay.
And
That's the description.
That's the description?
Some people, yes.
That's more like it.
Okay.
I think you'll be able to see the difference in recoil.
Right, that's more the
That
description.
is it, yeah.
Okay.
What's the length of that barrel there, Bob?
That's a 7-inch. They count the barrel length from the cylinder forward on these, or it's a 6-inch barrel. Pressure's on now, John. You actually have to hit something.
James, I want more of this view. I want to see the power from the side. Videotape the...
Yeah.
Pasquale is a skinny kid. I mean, he's, in his own words, he's a scrawny kid. He's not going to pick up that powerful gun with his offhand and shoot it.
Please raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yes, I do.
Mr. Irwin, what's your occupation?
I own the gun store on East Tropicana. and teach firearms.
All right, I want to ask you some questions regarding handguns and their usage.
Okay.
I want to ask you specific questions with regard to, of those folks that you've seen fire handguns, using the dominant hand or a subdominant hand. In your experience, what have you seen when people fire handguns?
Given a choice, they always use their dominant hand if they're firing the gun one-handed.
And why is that?
The physiological reasons I probably couldn't explain. If you're right-handed and you're going to hold something that is going to bark and bite, you would, of natural course, grab it with your right hand. In the classes I run, I require that concealed weapon holders shoot a few rounds at close range with their weak hand. And getting people to do that is sometimes like pulling teeth.
Mr. Irwin, of the 20-some thousand folks that you've trained and observed shoot, how many of them use their dominant hand when they're shooting a handgun?
If not told to shoot with their weak hand, 100% shoot with their strong hand.
Okay.
Good morning, Miss Baker.
Good morning.
How many children do you have?
4.
Okay. And what are their names?
Lamont, Marcus, Oscar, and Jawan.
Okay. Do you also have a stepson?
Yes.
Okay. And what is his name?
Robert.
Okay. And actually, can you back up a minute and tell me what their last names are of all your children?
All of them are Bakers except for Jawan. He's a Valentine. Okay. And so is Robert.
Okay. And now, does Robert go by Chuck B?
Yes, he does.
Okay. And what did you call him?
No, Chucky.
Okay. Do you know Pasquale Lozano?
I've known him since he was a kid, and well, he practically lived at my house. He had all sisters, and I had all boys, and he'd rather be at my house than at his own house. So practically every day and night.
Okay. Pasquale participated in family activities or not?
Yes, absolutely. He was part of the family.
Did you ask Chuck B if Pasquale shot at him?
Yes, I did.
And isn't it true that your son told you, Mama, I really don't think so?
He said, I really don't think so, but I don't know. It happened so fast.
Did he tell you he was hurt that Pasquale was in the car?
Yeah. Because they couldn't figure it out because they had no reason to, they weren't mad at each other, they wasn't fighting. And
did you ever know or see for yourself any conflict that Pasquale and Chuck B ever had?
No.
I think we need to approach Judge.
That's fine.
No conflict, the fact that they were in rival gangs, and they may just keep asking about the conflicts. There have been Supreme Court cases from Nevada that have said the state can't get into the gang issue. So it was never our intention to get into gangs. In murder, we don't have to prove motive, but juries like to know what a motive could be. When the defense got up and brought Tanya Sue Baker in, they went into, can you imagine any reason why Pasquale Lozano would have shot his good friend Robert Valentine? Well, that's motive. And she says, no. No, there was no reason. Well, motive in this case is you had the Crips going over and seeing a blood on the side of the road, and that's the motive. That opened it up, and now we're entitled to present the whole picture.
Thank you. Please be seated. Please state and spell your name.
Benjamin Owens, O-W-E-N-S.
May I approach, Your Honor? Showing you Defense Exhibit A. Do you recognize who's contained in that photograph?
Yes, I do.
And what do you know his name to be?
Robert Valentine.
And asking you, Detective, prior to September 7th, 2002, did Mr. Valentine make admissions to you that he was a member of a gang here in Las Vegas?
Yes, he did.
And what gang was he a member of, according to Mr. Valentine?
The 004 Hoodsman Street Gang. It's a predominant blood gang in the city of North Las Vegas and Las Vegas.
Detective DSC, do you know what that means?
Yes, sir. It's the Donna Street Crips.
And do you have knowledge of whether the defendant, Pasquale Lozano, was affiliated with that organization on September 7th, 2002.
Yes, sir, I do.
Were there any tattoos that Mr. Lozano had that would indicate an affiliation with the Donna Street Crips?
He has DSC tattooed on his, I believe it's left shoulder. He also has Donna on the right side of his stomach. He has a big D on the chest. He also has a D on his hand.
And Detective, do you know what a hand signal would be of someone who is a Crip?
Yes, sir. They would curl their hands in this motion to make a C with their hand.
Okay, may the record reflect with his left hand, Detective is making a C.
Now, the judge is saying that she doesn't think the gangs is that prejudicial. Whatever she called it, the pink elephant in the middle of the room. That everyone knows this is gang related and we're just stepping around it. Which is probably true, but still, when you just get out there and now you're referring to my client as a straight up gang member, I think it's prejudicial. I mean, there's no question about it. Because that's something the jury could now hang their hat on. And they could totally not care what the evidence is. He's a gang member. He's a gang member, and I'm sure if he didn't do this, he did something else. Let's just convict his ass. This is James. James is on his way to Lamont. I talked to James while you were on the phone. He's on the way to Lamont. Hello?
Hey.
Hey, wasn't Lamont a Crip?
Yeah, they're all.
And his brother, his stepbrother, is a Blood.
Right.
And it's not because they fucking want to go out and kill each other. It's because it's where they're born and raised.
Exactly.
Right.
Robert Valentine happened to spend more time at his dad's house during the week, and that's what he associates with. Really what we want to establish is that Jawan, Marcus, and Lamont are all Crips, and they wouldn't shoot their brother, Robert Valentine. That way we can lump Pasquale there too. They're like brothers. Pasquale wouldn't shoot at him.
You need to pull a bunny out of a hat with Lamont, if that's possible. And I'm concerned, I think it's the odds of doing that are probably less than 10% after talking.
But you never know.
But you never know.
I think it'd be good if we brought the older brother in to say, look, your brother is a Blood. You're a Crip. Would you kill your brother for the set?
Right.
And see what he says. I mean, I want to talk to him before we get him on the stand, obviously.
These people, they're not used to this kind of stuff. They don't want to come to court. The way this kind of culture looks at it, if anybody testifies, whether they testify for the prosecution or they testify for the defense, either way, they look at it as kind of like they're snitching. But we paint the picture that, look, if you don't help us, the state is going to execute our client. Lemon lives up here upstairs in apartment D, so I'm going to go see if he'll talk to me. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, can I speak to Lamont, please? Okay, tell him I'm with the special public defender. I'm here on Pasquale's case. I understand the relationship between you and Pasquale from back then, right? I understand you're doing good. I know you went to prison, you got out, everything's cool, right? Jawan's your little brother?
Yep.
And Marcus is your little brother?
Yep.
Right?
And Chucky.
So Chuck B...
It's my little brother also.
Is he your stepbrother, or is he...
No, him and my little brother Jawan had the same father.
Okay.
My mom's husband.
Okay, so he's your half-brother?
Yeah.
Right?
But like I said, Pasquale, like, I love him too. He's like part of our family too.
That's what he says. That's what he says. That's what he said. Come for you to come talk to you.
What do you really need?
I need to know how friendly Chucky...
statement too.
I need to know how friendly Chucky was with Pasquale. I mean, I know they're from different neighborhoods, but...
No, but it was like, we all partners, okay? Obviously, my little brother knows Pasquale.
Right.
Jawan knows Pasquale.
Right.
And obviously, Pasquale knows my other brother, which is Chucky too.
Right.
So everybody knew everybody.
Right.
That's why the incident that happened...
Which doesn't make any sense to me as to why P-Baby would be shooting at Chucky.
Pasquale's my brother too.
Right. I need the jury to hear this. I could tell it all day long. They ain't gonna believe me. I need somebody like you to come. I'm gonna see P-Baby tomorrow. Anything you want me to tell him?
Yeah, tell him I love him, man. You know, tell him to get at me. You got my address and shit.
Yeah.
Too.
All right, dude. All right, dude. See ya. Thank you. Bye. Hello? Hey. I just talked to Lamont. I got good stuff. He gave me everything that we wanted. He'll come and he'll say that there's no way in hell that Pascual could have shot him. Could have shot at him. Had shot him.
Please state and spell your name.
Lamont Baker, Lamonbaker.
Robert Valentine, he was a stepbrother, correct?
Yes.
So it's fair to say he spent part of the time with his father and some part of the time with the mother.
Yes.
And if you were to break down the time that he spent with his mom and with his dad, how much would he spend with each party?
I'd say it was fairly equal.
Okay. So it's fair to say that Robert grew up in two different neighborhoods?
Yes.
What group of individuals or what gang was affiliated with the neighborhood where Robert Valentine's father was living?
I would have to say Bloods.
Now, what gang was affiliated with the neighborhood that you and Marcus and Juwan and Pascual grew up in?
Just like basic area?
Yeah.
Crips.
Okay. Now, talking about your two brothers, well, your brother Juwan and your stepbrother Robert, did you ever see any disagreements over them because of the friends from the different neighborhoods they came from?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you about this gentleman right here at the table. Do you know, do you recognize this individual?
Yes, sir, I do.
And who's this?
That's my brother also.
Why do you refer to Pascual as your brother?
He grew up in the household as a brother also.
From what you saw, how did Robert treat Pascual?
I didn't see any problems with it.
Okay.
With their relationship.
And from what you saw, how did Pascual treat Robert Valentine?
Equal, same.
How would you classify the relationship between the two individuals?
Standard friendship, I guess.
Nothing further?
If the argument is that Pascual's motive was that he was a gang member, everyone in that car had that motive then. It doesn't change the fact that three people, even though they want to discredit them, said that the person they saw getting into that car was a black guy.
The attorneys will have the opportunity to present their closing arguments. Ms. Monroe?
Pascual Lozano got out of that car, and he took that gun, and he went into that courtyard shooting at Robert Valentine, and Genesis Gonzalez died. Who saw what really went down that night? Because if you believe Eric and Jonathan Morales, Genesis Gonzalez's killer is here. He's in this courtroom, and he is guilty of every count that the state of Nevada has brought against him.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to leave off right where Miss Monroe stopped, okay? Her last comment to you was, thank goodness for the Moraleses, or nobody would have been arrested, right? Well, ladies and gentlemen, Pascual Lozano would not have been arrested if the detectives in this case would listen to all of the evidence, if they'd listened to all of the witnesses. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. I think Emilio Garcia was by far the most credible witness, the most powerful witness in this case. He comes in and he has no axe to grind, okay? He doesn't even want to be here. All right, Carlos Corral, they don't want to be here. They're completely independent. They have no axe to grind, no motive, no bias. They're not pressured, and they moved to get a better vision, a better look at who was shooting. And they came back and they told you that the shooter was African American, was black, okay? And you know the crazy thing? You wouldn't have even known they exist had we not called them as witnesses. You wouldn't even know they were on this planet.
There is no way to minimize what happened. No way. A little girl lost her life. I mean, it's heartbreaking. And you have to understand that it makes us sad too. And we're not asking you to ignore it because the fact is that somebody died. But you do have to put it aside in order to be rational. And that's so important. They bring in what the gang evidence. The irony is they want you to retaliate and to have that mob, that gang mentality, and to punish him just because who he is. Not because what happened on September 7th, but because who he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you look at this exhibit, You have two witnesses from this side of the street, a witness from inside the car, a witness, Robert Valentine, on the sidewalk, and you have Tanya Gonzalez over here, all of which say the same thing about the identity of the shooter. The two witnesses that the defense proffers in the parking lot, Mr. Garcia, Mr. Corral, I never heard one explanation about drinking alcohol. One witness says, we had 2 beers out of 18. The next says, I had 3 beers out of 6. I would submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that there's no motive here of Mr. Corral or Mr. Garcia, just merely two people that are trying to remember more than they actually saw. And that when you look at the detailed witnesses under the context of what they observe, the detail that they remember at the time and the consistency over time, that the state has met its burden in this case, and that equal and exact justice in this case is the conviction of the defendant for counts 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Sir, has the jury reached a verdict?
We have.
All right, will you please hand the verdict form to our bailiff? All right, the clerk will now read the verdict out loud and inquire if this is the verdict of the jury.
We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant, Pascual Lozano, as follows. Count 1, murder with use of a deadly weapon, guilty. Count 2, attempt murder with use of a deadly weapon, guilty. Count 3, attempt murder with use of a deadly weapon, guilty. Count 4, battery with use of a deadly weapon, guilty. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is this your verdict as read? So say you one, so say you all?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we told you at the outset of this case, if there's a conviction for murder in the first degree, we'll be moving on to the penalty phase of the trial. What we're going to do is adjourn for this evening, and we'll reconvene tomorrow morning at 10:45.
Does the person have to come in and say, I did the shooting? I'm like, pretty much at this point. That may not help. No, I didn't even hear it. I can't even believe this. I can't even believe it. They also, they did the lessers too, obviously. They just checked every box they could. They checked every box.
If you are to determine that the aggravating circumstances outweigh the mitigating circumstances, your final step is to determine, collectively as a jury, what is the appropriate punishment in this case. And I submit to you, respectfully, that when you hear the evidence that you're about to hear, that there can legitimately be no consideration other than 2 sentencing options in this case: life without the possibility of parole and the death penalty. There can be no greater punishment than the death penalty, and is one reserved for those appropriate cases. Ladies and gentlemen, the only appropriate punishment in this case is the death penalty. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Meningo?
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday you reached your verdict, and
frankly, I mean, there's a big disagreement between us. I have to accept it. We have to accept it. And as professionals, we move on, and that's what we do. We have to do that. And as you can tell, Pasquale's not here today. He just can't. And so, Mr. Whipple and I are here to plead for his life. I told you in closing, and I stand by it, is that I'm proud to represent him. And I'm hoping that when you learn a little bit more about him, you're going to understand why. There is more to his life than what happened on September 7th. There's much more than that. And there's more about him that you guys need to know before you even consider imposing such a harsh penalty. They are going to ask you to kill another human being, and we're going to ask you for mercy. That is an awesome responsibility, and it's your opportunity to take the higher road. So what Mr. Whipple and I are going to ask you to do is to choose life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Noemi, can you tell the members of the jury what kind of a child Genesis Gonzalez was?
Ella era una niña muy alegre.
She was a very happy child.
Han pasado los años y nosotros no hemos podido superar esto.
The years have gone by, but we have not been able to overcome this.
Es como una herida que está tratando de sanar y no sana.
It's like a wound that is trying to heal, but it will not heal.
How would you describe your Uncle Pasquale to somebody who didn't know him?
A good man. He has a good sense of humor, and he's my uncle.
And do you have an opportunity to talk to him from time to time?
Yeah, he calls like 4 times in a week.
And do you visit with him yourself?
Yeah.
Does he give you advice about going to school and what's important in life?
Yeah.
And what did he tell you?
To pay attention on my schoolwork and don't concentrate on too much girls because they make you not do good in school.
So he suggests to worry about school instead of girls at this point?
Yeah.
Do you listen to his advice?
Yeah.
Why do you listen to your Uncle Pasquale's advice?
Because he always gives me good advice.
How do you know Pasquale?
He's my son. He's everything to me. That's why he hurts me a lot. Because I know you guys have kids too. And it hurts taking the son away. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to be very strong. But it will hurt me a lot. That's about all I can say.
Judge, I want to pass the witness, Judge.
Do we need a break, or can we move into the defense's next witness?
Hopefully it won't be a problem getting in. Today was a big development, and I'll let Maribel tell you about that. You know she was looking for Tanya, right?
I said, I've had the opportunity to meet with Pasquale last week, and he knew that I would be trying to talk to you, and he asked me to give you, to tell you something. And I went on to tell him what you told me to tell him. And she immediately says, I know that it was an accident, and I know that he didn't mean to do that. I was walking out of the door, and she's like, can you tell him that I see him as a brother? And can you tell him that I love him?
Tanya, I want to ask you some questions about a conversation you had with Maribel Rosales.
Yes.
Now, did you at that time also ask her to tell something to Pasquale?
I remember, yes.
What would you like to tell Pasquale?
That I feel sorry that he's in this position. That I feel, I feel sorry for his family. That, just that.
Why is it that you, what makes it cause you to feel sorry for him in that position?
Well, facing that he was guilty of what happened.
How would, if Mr. Lozano got the death penalty, how would that affect you?
Well, it's just taking another life from this earth and taking away another family member from another family.
Right. Hey.
Maribel called Tanya, and then Maribel called her mom. And she said he wants to say he's sorry to you guys. And she said, okay. She said, I'll pick up the girls and I'll be there at 10:45.
Right, that's cool.
Yeah. So with that in mind, you need to just think about what we're gonna say,
Tanya walked in the room and sat down right now. What would you want to tell her?
I want to talk to all of them, really, you know what I'm saying?
But I'm just saying, okay, if it's the mother.
Oh, thank you for being here.
And you don't have to say it the way you're gonna say it. Just think of what, like telling us what you would want to tell her.
I'll be like, I don't know what I'm saying. When I'm there, I can say it easier, whatever come to mind, so I really don't need this, but it's cool. I just need some words.
You know what, babe? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm in a courtroom all the time, okay? I do this for a living, and I'm telling you, every single time I get up to question someone, I feel nervous because I don't know how things are gonna go, okay? You're going to be nervous. It's not gonna be easy, okay? So we do need to go through some of it. And whatever, if you want to add tomorrow, that's fine. But I want to at least get in your mind the things that are important to you.
Let me ask you some questions, okay? How would you like to be able to help, if you can, the Gonzalez family?
Gonzalez? Can I help them? Yeah. Man, I help them. I can take the pain away, man.
Can you help them?
Can I help them?
Yeah.
Man, with this little speech here, you know what I'm saying? I hope, but how can I help them? I mean, what do they want me to help them?
I don't know.
How?
I don't know.
I'm willing to help them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what can I do for them? I mean, I'm willing to do anything for them. What can I possibly do? You know what I'm saying? I want to do anything, whatever limit.
Okay.
Do you think about it every day?
Yeah, be like, man, I use this as I hate it came to this, but I use Genesis as a better key for myself, you know what I'm saying? I got it.
And you know what state of mind you need to be in, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Pasquale.
Okay, I got it.
You're gonna do great.
But I can add to this, right? This is just basic. Okay.
That's basically what you say you want to cover, but it's your thing.
Right. Okay.
You say what you want to say. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the defendant, Mr. Lozano, has a right of allocution. What that means is he has the right to make an unsworn statement to you. Mr. Lozano, are you ready to make that statement at this time?
Yes.
All right, sir, would you like to come up to the witness stand?
Do you want a drink? It's okay.
said, man, I don't think I can do it.
Just take your time.
Just take your time. Okay? It's all right. Just talk from your heart.
I'd like to apologize to the whole Gonzalez family. You know, I mean, words couldn't explain how sorry I am. Man, I'd like to apologize for my involvement in it. You know, nobody meant to harm your family in no type of way. You know, I wish I could ease your pains, you know. I mean, do something for you. Give you a lung, a heart. And nobody ever intended harm. I mean, I only can imagine what you guys go through. Man, I hope you guys forgive us. Man, I swear, man. I'm sorry. I got a lot more words to say, but at this time, they can't come out. I'm sorry.
Muchas gracias por escucharnos. Y creo que todos estamos de acuerdo con todo esto.
Es difícil, yo sé, pero tenemos que ser fuertes todos.
De verdad lo sentimos mucho. Ustedes no tienen por qué pasar por esto. Ni nosotros tampoco. Pero son, no sé, el destino, las circunstancias, no sé. No hay palabras, yo no creo que fue mi hermano. Lo siento mucho. Pero todo está con Dios, está todo su mano. Tiene que haber justicia. Nosotros no podemos decir si fue o no fue. Pero Dios sabe quién fue. Y Dios tiene que hacer justicia. Porque Él sí es justo. Tal vez nosotros como seres humanos fallamos. Pero Él no. Él nunca falla. Como dice mi sobrino, yo estaba... Era su amigo, sí. Dice, pero yo no fui. Pero Él no puede decirlo ahí arriba. Porque no lo deja.
No, él sí puede decirlo, sí, pero él tiene miedo a las consecuencias.
Si él es inocente, él tiene que decir la verdad, porque es su vida la que está en peligro.
Siguen sacando lo pasado, ya pagó.
Nos tenemos que ir.
Okay, muchas gracias y les agradezco mucho que vinieron, ¿ok?
Juror number 9, you are the presiding juror. Has the jury reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
All right, the clerk will now read the verdict forms and inquire if this is the verdict of the jury.
In the case of State of Nevada versus Pascal Lozana, case number C188067, Department 21, verdict.
We, the jury, in the above entitled case, having found the defendant, Pasquale Lozano, guilty of count 1, murder in the first degree, and having found that the mitigating circumstance or circumstances outweigh any aggravating circumstance or circumstance impose a sentence of life in Nevada Department of Corrections with the possibility of parole. Dated this 15th day of September 2006, signed by the foreperson. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is this your verdict as read? So say you one, so say you all.
All right, before the verdict is recorded, does either side desire to have the jury polled?
No.
Thank God.
That's cool. They listen to us. They listen to us.
You're going to retry this case a third time
I guess.
without the death
Oh yeah, absolutely. It'd negotiate now. It goes second with use now.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's exactly it.
He got life with the possibility of parole.
Thank God. Oh my goodness. Thank God. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you very much.
Go tell your mom, Lupe.
Emergency. My name is Stanley. About an hour or two ago, I killed a man.
I said to myself, I'm going to die.
Some details are here, some are lost. It's kind of like Swiss cheese.
You will know that the victim died of stab wounds to the chest, face, and neck.
On January 27th, 2006, Dirac Hanley said no. You will not take advantage of me again.
A pervert, a homosexual pervert. That will drive me crazy anytime.